shall we redo this very quickly?
Why?
My name is Raj.
My name is Rick, and we will be taking you through a selection of Azure updates for September 2023. So this is not everything that has happened. This is only some retiring features, general availability, some preview features, but there's so much more to share, so we made a selection. And we tried to keep it short, so we won't go into too much detail. If there's ever any questions on any of these, please reach out to your CSA.
Okay, so what is retiring, Rick?
So first, one of the most important things that's, I'm going to say retiring, is cognitive services and then AI document intelligence, which is we call Forms Recognizer. It's not actually retiring. However, version 2.0 of the API is retiring.
Okay.
And it's only retiring August 31st of 2026.
That's quite some time from now.
Yeah, but still, you might be better safe than sorry, and make sure that you brush off that technical debt that you might have. And of course, jumping on that v3.1 endpoint, which is the new endpoint, the new API, also gives you a lot of extra features like more than 300 printed and 9 handwritten language supports. So that's pretty impressive, I think. Pause the video to read the entire list or go and see the announcement that we linked at the end of the video. Then database for MariaDB. That's actually going away. And it's one of the few services that has come and gone now for Azure. So it's going away on September 19th of 2025.
So is there a migration path for your customers who are using MariaDB?
Well, there is actually. You can go to PostgreSQL on Flexible Server. There's an extensive piece of documentation on how to do that, on how to actually migrate. So again, go to the end of the video or look in the description and see the link there. We have a complete list of all of the announcements, but the migration guide for people is also in there.
Interesting thing to note is it's also retiring only 19th September 2025. But again, it's good to take action right away.
Because everything that's still available 19th of September 2025 will actually be deleted. You might lose data. So you need to have migrated before that.
I would not want to be receiving a phone call in the middle of the night on 19th September 2025.
I would hope so, that we don't get one. Okay, on to general availability. Again, there's so much, so let's keep it really short. We have trusted launch for virtual machines, which now means that we can validate that whatever wants to boot on our virtual machine actually is allowed to boot. So we can have OSs or drivers that are allowed to start up. And that means that we can now have even more control over what our virtual machines are running in the cloud.
Well, security is top of mind, so great. And virtual machines trusted launch, give it a try.
Yeah. And then one other thing that's being added now as generally available is GitHub Advanced Security for Azure DevOps.
So code scanning, dependency scanning, and secret scanning is now available natively out of the box. So we enable developers to commit less mistakes going forward. So yes, GitHub Advanced Security for Azure DevOps. It's a mouthful, but again, give it a try.
Yeah, because it helps, just like you said to me earlier when we were talking about this, it helps us improve the process and no longer punish the person, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, next up, malware scanning on Azure Storage. This is something that I've been asked about a lot of times. So we now enable you to enable malware scanning on a Azure Storage account, which means we can safeguard that whatever goes in there is actually okay to go in there and there aren't any malicious files available inside of your storage account.
Less leakage.
Better security. That's where we want to go. And now also Update Manager is available generally, which means that there's a SaaS solution to manage and govern software updates for both your Windows and your Linux virtual machines. So we can do software updates automatically on infrastructure as a service now.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? So we're changing the philosophy of infrastructure as a service one step at a time.
Yeah, it is. So we can do that now automatically. And coming soon is managing SQL updates to your Azure SQL VMs together with OS updates, but also built-in ability to execute scripts, for instance, before or after tasks are being run, so that you can make sure that your machine is compliant, which also, again, adds to the security and the compliance of your machines. Then jumping on to IPv6 support for Application Gateway, finally. So the Azure Gateway Load Balancer now supports IPv6 traffic. So we can finally do that in Azure as well using Application Gateway.
Cool.
Yep. And then some updates on AKS, Kubernetes.
Absolutely. And now AKS Node OS patching allows you to get more granular control on your nodes.
Yep.
Allows you to pick and choose the operating system that you want to be on your node pools. And I think that's a great feature to have.
It is. And it actually ties right into the other one, which is Image Cleaner, which means that we can now detect unused and or vulnerable images and automatically clean them out of our cluster as soon as they're no longer used, or actively push them out because we want to use different images.
Absolutely. So site reliability engineering is made even better.
True. Now, again, moving forward now into our preview features, there are quite a few. Again, this is a selection. And the first one is actually one that I'm really excited about because it's app configuration snapshots. So now, long story short, we allow you to make snapshots of your app configuration settings that are in there, which means that we can now have, for instance, something known as a last well-known configuration, so that if we change something and stuff goes wrong, we can just roll back to a snapshot and just say, hey, we know this worked, let's go back there, see whatever was the problem and fix it.
Well, I can confidently make mistakes.
Yeah, because you have a way to go back now.
Absolutely.
Next up is Universal Geo Restore for database for MySQL. And this actually allows you to restore your database on a server in a completely different region than where you were originally. So if there's ever any big outages or big infrastructure issues that are happening, you can now geo restore into a supported but different geo region and run your software from there.
Very interesting. Great. How many more updates do you have?
I think we still have like 4 to go,
Okay.
and then a general summary. So next up is customer managed keys for Cosmos DB. Now this was already available for quite some time, but now we have a preview option where you don't have to recreate a Cosmos DB database or resource, and then you have that enabled with customer managed keys, and then you port over all of your data. Now we can set a customer managed key on an existing Azure Cosmos DB resource, which allows us to be way faster in rolling this out as soon as we need it.
Very interesting. So, as always, we're removing as much overheads from our developers as possible, and it's yet another right step in the right way.
Yeah, I agree. Now you've done quite some things with OpenAI, and I hear whispers of a new model.
Correct. So, Whisper can deliver human speech recognition in over 57 languages.
Oh wow!
So, one of the key questions that I receive from customers is, "Hey, what can OpenAI do for our business?" And something that we very often go out and evangelize is to give these OpenAI models a try, and that actually becomes a starting point to ideate your use cases. So Whisper is a great model to have in terms of digital contact center solutions to start with, and there's way too many use cases surrounding it. So that's Whisper launching in Azure OpenAI for you.
Yeah, and if there's ever anything that you run against and you want to have some support, I mean, first reach out to your CSA, right?
Absolutely.
We'll be able to help or find help for you. The next update is Azure API Center, and it's actually part of API management, but now we have one central location in which to manage all of our APIs that our company provides, for instance. So it's actually taking management of all of the APIs that is in API management to a higher level, so that we can now company-wide manage all of those. We can create new APIs or update metadata, or I mean, all of those management.
It's a single pane of glass.
It is, but now for Azure API management. So powerful addition there as well.
Well, on the screen I see something that you were more interested about when we were having coffee, so tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we used to have for Cosmos DB, or we still have, the ability to have the free grant applied to one instance inside of our subscription, so that we get some RUs free each and every month, and we can use that to run our Cosmos DB database. We didn't have a solution like that for SQL, but now we do. So now we have an option to have a free SQL database. And how it actually works is you get a 32 gigabyte general purpose serverless Azure SQL database with 100,000 vCore seconds per month for free.
That sounds like a powerful machine. Rick.
It does, and the cool thing is because it's serverless and it works for 100 vCore seconds, you can spin those up as soon as you need them. If you don't need them, it won't count to the 100,000 vCore seconds. But as soon as you start using it, and as soon as the machine gets busier, you're acquiring or you're using more vCore seconds, so then it goes off of the free grant. And that free grant comes back each and every month for as long as your subscription lives. So you get that SQL database for free to either do a proof of concept or do some web development and have a database underneath, or maybe you're just learning SQL. You can now do that in a free database inside of Azure.
Well, that means we have to go back and change few databases. We're not sure.
we might want to do that. Now, again, this was just a selection of updates for the month of September 2023. There's a complete list of what we did here today on this recap on aka.ms/ANR-2023-09 for the year and the month. Or you could scan the QR code or look in the description and see the link there. If you want to keep up with all of the updates, go azure.com/updates. The link is on the screen as well, because that's a general location where every type of information and every type of announcement that we make as far as services for general availability or in development or preview goes will be available there. So you can go check there, see for yourself.
And from time to time, we will also bring curated selection of those updates to you through this video. And thank you for joining us, and thanks for walking us through it.
Thanks. See you next time.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye.